Welcome back to RX Muscle's Iron Road to the Olympia, actually, and after the Olympia for that matter, brought to you by Chemical Warfare. I'm Dave Palumbo, and we're here today with Dennis James to get his impressions of the Olympia weekend, because you were out there. I know you had some strong opinions on a lot of the stuff you saw. Right off the bat, Dennis, what would you say was the biggest impact story of the weekend, if you had to think of one specific?
The biggest impact, without a doubt, HADI CHOOPAN.
How impressive was he in person?
He was. I eat my words from the last Iron debate. No, you know what? I got to give credit where credit's due, no doubt. I thought it would have been better for him to be in the 212, but no, absolutely. Jose Raymond nailed it when he said that he's going to stand next to these guys, and he was actually bigger than most of the guys.
It's crazy, right? His width is unbelievable for a short guy.
The width is unbelievable, and the quads are out of this world. There was not one athlete on stage who could stand next to him with quads. If Brandon Currie would have HADI CHOOPAN's quads, he would be unbeatable for the next 10 years.
Why does no one have legs anymore, Dennis? Right? It seems like there's not a lot of guys with great legs.
I think that, I think a lot of people are scared of squatting.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Get your ass under the fucking squat rack. That's what helps. It's the bread and butter. And people want to do machines and squat machines and all that bullshit. If you don't train, and most of the time, the people with less than stellar quads are the ones that don't even squat. I
know, and they have 1,000,001 excuses too about it, right?
Yeah, my knees hurt, my hips hurt. Get the fucking job at the fucking pool fucking house. Work somewhere else.
If I had to miss a squat workout, I was so depressed for the whole week leading up to the next week's squat workout, because I felt like, and I had big legs, and I felt like I was going to lose my legs, God forbid I didn't squat for 1 week. I can't get guys to go to the gym and do one squat workout. They got hip pain, they got back pain, they got their ass hurts, they got hemorrhoids. I mean, I've never heard so many excuses in my life.
I squatted all the way up to the show. I did
me too.
I did squat photo shoots like 6 days, 7 days out from the Arnold Classic. I was doing 765 for 2 reps, 6 days out.
I know, me too.
Care.
Me too.
And as soon as you stop squatting, and I realized it too, because I had this back injury for a whole year, and I didn't really squat because I wasn't able to, and my legs just said, my sweep just said, zip.
Yep. 1 year I tried to make my waist smaller, and I didn't squat for that whole season, and my legs didn't really lose size, but they lost the shape. They lost that really nice shape.
Right.
That billowy, quad look to it.
No, HADI CHOOPAN for me was to stand out. I mean, absolutely killed it. He absolutely nailed his condition. There was only 2 guys. I'm talking about the Open. There was only 2 guys where I want to say they were in top condition, and that was HADI CHOOPAN and then Patrick Moore was, for me, the most impressive athlete, the most overlooked athlete in the history of the Olympia, I would say.
Really? That severe? Yeah, I thought he looked great too, but I couldn't tell because I was watching from a TV,
Bro, he was so impressive. He had the lines. He had the condition. He had the look, the way he posed. Everything was there. To not put him in the first call-out, worst case scenario, second call-out too. If you overlook him, put him in the second call-out so you can see really, oh, wait a minute, this guy is really that good. So then you move him up. But to put him in the third call-out, I will never understand how that happened.
So what do you think it was? You think they just didn't really know? They didn't expect him to be there, and so they kind of overlooked him? I mean, what do you think they could have thought was wrong with him?
Well, there can only be one thing, that they overlooked him.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. What else could be there? I mean, you just didn't see him. And when they did the mandatories, and I did a live, I was live on Instagram. I was like, Patrick Moore is going into the first call-out for the first time in his first Olympia.
Yeah.
And then they didn't call him. I was like, whoa, they called 6 guys and put Steve Kluckel in the first call-out. I didn't get that.
Yeah, you didn't think Steve belonged there?
I didn't see Steve in the top 6 at all. I mean, I like Steve, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, sure.
Steve did not deliver whatsoever. His condition wasn't there. I just can't wrap my head around how he beat guys like Patrick Moore. For really, this is my honest opinion.
Do you think, and I asked this to Chris Cicero, he didn't agree, but do you think that Patrick Moore is going to be the next Ronnie Coleman?
I don't know about Ronnie Coleman. Why would he be the next Ronnie Coleman?
Well, because he's from Texas. He's got that work ethic. Lee Labrada says he sees him in the gym every day. He says the guy trains insanely heavy. And
okay, I never see this guy train.
Yeah.
I never see. I'm just judged by what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a beautiful shape,
right.
beautiful lines, super tiny waist. Nothing reminds me of Ronnie Coleman.
Okay. Even the early Ronnie Coleman?
He just reminds me of a perfectly shaped, in crazy condition athlete that should have been way higher than he placed. What did he place at the end?
I think it was he ninth or something like that. I don't even know.
I don't even think he made top 10.
I think he was. You might be right. I got to look it up. But let me ask you this about.
You got third call out.
Let me ask you this about Patrick Moore. Do you think that if he adds 10 pounds of muscle to his body, that he's going to be a guy who will be like unbeatable? Do you think he could be like the next big thing in the bodybuilding open division?
Well, as long as he brings the condition again, he will never be overlooked ever again in his life. Because I think when the judges look back and see the video and really pay attention to what this guy looks like, I mean, in the back of their heads, they're going to be like, damn, we really overlooked this dude. You know what I mean? It can happen. You judge the whole weekend. I can see how things happen. You know what I mean? But I don't even know if he would have to gain an extra 10 pounds. I mean, he could. He's tall enough. He's a tall bodybuilder. So
yeah.
He has easily room to put on more size. But if he doesn't lose his symmetry, but I don't care if he would have been 5 pounds lighter than he was at the Olympia, he should still be in the first call.
He was 10th, by the way. I looked it up. He was 10th place.
10th place, yeah. See? So he got beat by Steve Kukla. Who else beat him?
Akeem Williams was 9th.
Yeah, come on, man.
So you didn't like, a lot of people thought Akeem was overlooked.
Akeem was okay for Akeem, but he still has that thick skin. The condition is not there. It just wasn't there. And you know, he was big and he was full, and he was good for Akeem, but I don't think his condition was there.
Yeah. Why do you think Akeem can't get lean? Is it a dieting thing or is it a genetic thing?
I think it has something to do with the thick skin. I think he might be super lean and super dry underneath, and the skin is just too thick. That's what it looks like to me. It's hard to say. I don't know what he's doing. You know, it's just, you know, with the size that he brings, and he trains heavy. You can see this muscle come from heavy training. This doesn't come from using machines and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's just for him. It's just that condition factor to get that super thin skin, so you can see that grainy look that I can't see on him.
Right. You know what? He's very dark skinned too. I'm thinking back. Remember Orville Burke?
Yes.
Orville had that problem, I think, early in his career too. And then as he got older, he seemed to his skin got thinner, but he also got a lot bigger too. So I don't know if that helped the equation as well.
Yeah. Well, I would hope for Akeem to come in and nail it one time, because then we can really see how good he really looks.
Yeah. Now,
you know what I mean?
I agree with you. I think Patrick Moore certainly, I don't know if he should have beat Akeem, or maybe, I probably would have had him beat Akeem, but he definitely should have, I thought, beat Lucas Oslidel, who to me didn't, look like the normal Lucas Oslidel, doesn't have the structure of an Olympia guy. I was surprised he was up there, and Cedric to me was way off too. So,
who was the other one?
Cedric.
Cedric was guest posing, man.
Yeah.
Cedric, I can't even say I'm disappointed. I didn't expect nothing else, to be honest.
But why can't he nail it for the Olympia? Why is it for the Olympia he always looks terrible?
Is he still working with Chris?
No, and Chris begged him. Chris volunteered his services. And Chris doesn't contact anyone. He's like, Cedric, I'll help you. Nah. You know him.
Yeah, well, I guess he looked like he didn't really take it serious.
That's that's the way I interpret it as well too.
Yeah, and if you don't take it serious, don't ask for a fucking invite.
What? And Dennis, think about it. The year they got to know Mr. Olympia, they got a vacant title. If you're going to take the bodybuilding serious any year, this would be the year to do it, right?
Exactly. And I don't want to say guys didn't take it serious, because I was really, really disappointed after prejudging Friday night, because this was probably. Everybody was off, but HADI and Patrick, and I was like, I'm disappointed. There's an Olympia up for grabs, and this guy's posting all these pictures, taking thousands of pictures in front of the fucking mirror with the best light, where even I would look good, and I'm fucking fat as hell. You know what I'm saying? But don't be posting that shit, and then come to the Olympia and don't deliver the goods.
So do you think the magic mirror over there in Oxygen, is making these guys, or making the fans maybe expect more than they're getting from the guys that are over there?
Well, don't expect more, but at least bring what you show.
Yeah.
And if you get a fucking full body pump, and you're running from the gym straight into the locker room in front of the mirror, and get the best light, and take about 150 shots and choose the one that makes you look the best. At least get a full body workout backstage before you walk on stage.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to ask you a controversial question, okay? Because, and you give me an honest answer. Don't sugarcoat it. If you I don't know, what year do you think you were your best on stage?
It's hard to say, but I think it was 2003 and 2004.
Okay, if you take that conditioning from 2003 or 4 and put it into this Olympia lineup, are you Mr. Olympia?
I don't know. Because, the guys that I thought could win didn't win, got third. I thought HADI should have been no less than second. Friday after prejudging, to be perfectly honest, I had HADI and William Bonac in 1 and 2.
Really? Okay.
That was Friday after prejudging.
That's because is that based on conditioning?
Conditioning. From Brandon's conditioning was off too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Brandon, his shape carried him Friday. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
his conditioning wasn't great Saturday night either.
Saturday night he was much better than Friday.
But it still wasn't what he could be, you know.
Well, if you put him and the guys, if you put him and William or even HADI CHOOPAN side by side, and you break down individual body parts, then you're gonna have to say Brandon's legs are still not there yet.
Right. Right.
Not size-wise, and there's no separation, or there's not a lot of separation. You know why
did Brandon win? Why did the judges pick him?
Because he was much improved Saturday, and he was, first of all, he was the favorite coming in, and he looked like the best on Saturday. You could easily, don't get me wrong, you could easily make a case for HADI winning the Olympia.
Right.
And I said it in somewhere else. I said, if you switch heads back and forth, you put Brandon's head on HADI's body. Oh, so Mr. Olympia all day.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Brandon is deservingly Mr. Olympia. He has the beautiful lights. But I tell you this, in order for him to repeat, he needs to bring his legs up, and he needs to bring some details in his legs.
What?
Absolutely.
Do you think was he better at the Arnold Classic?
Yes.
I agree.
He was better at the Arnold. If he would have came in like he did at the Arnold, he would have walked away easy. Nobody would have complained a single word.
Would Bonac have won the show had he looked like he did at the Arnold Classic? Because I thought Bonac was very impressive at the Arnold Classic.
I thought Bonac was very good here too. Like I said, I had William and HADI in 1 and 2 after the prejudging. You could see, you saw Bonac's legs were down in size. Okay?
I thought he was a little flat, yeah.
But they didn't miss any detail. The separation was there. It was all there. When he turned around, it was all there. Could have been better. He could have been a little fuller. He could have been a little, But like I said, everybody else was off too. So at the end of the day, they all in the same position. The only one that was really on was HADI.
Right.
The one I'm talking the first call out.
Right. What did you think of Dexter Jackson?
Dexter Jackson was flat on Friday and came back Saturday. He was filled out. He looked much better. There was nothing popping on Friday, so that was his problem. So he was totally undercarved, but his gut was out.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that happens. You know what I mean? This is probably because he looked like he was weak. He looked like he was literally suffering to keep it together. And if you're weak, then you can't control your stomach.
You're right. And your stomach sticks out more if you're flat, too.
Yeah, if you're dehydrated and you just literally have no energy, your stomach is the first thing you let go.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's why his stomach was out. He was weak. Nothing was happening. Saturday he came back. He was fuller. He was tight, and his stomach was better than Friday.
Let me ask you a question that no one ever talks about. The Olympia is held in Vegas. Okay, this year I wasn't there, but I'm told that it was very hot there, very, very dry. People think when they're inside, they're escaping the lack of humidity. They're not, because it's just as dry in the hotel, even though it's cool. Do you think that guys tend to get flatter in Vegas, especially when it's super hot like that? And should there be, should you try to make accommodations for that? Because we see it every year happening when it's very warm in Vegas, whether it be at the USA or at the Olympia. Guys come in super flat there. And I just think that they're using diuretic protocols and water restriction protocols that work really well at Columbus, Ohio in the winter at the Arnold. But when you do it in Vegas, sometimes it can backfire on you.
I don't know if that's the reason. I don't want to think so.
No?
You know what I mean? Why are the guys better at the Arnold? It's mostly the same guys that compete at the Olympia. Why? Because the motivation coming off the Olympia, now the next few months, they're not going off. They're not going into shits where they're going to have to start a brand new diet and start losing all the body fat. Nobody who's planning on doing the Arnold is coming off and going off completely and just letting their body go.
Right.
They're literally cruising now until they start prepping again. So they had a better starting point.
Sure.
And I think maybe that's why most of them are better at the Arnold, because they're literally using their condition and where they're at right now and just cruise, get through the holidays, and then prep for the Arnold. That's what I think.
You might be right. That's a good point. It's a valid point. If you had to put the top 5 from this year's Olympia into last year's Olympia, where do they place?
Oh, I was sitting in the front row with Chris, Cormier, Flex Wheeler, Tony Doherty, and I brought this up. I said, look at the last call out, top 4. Top 4 Friday was Brandon, HADI, William, and Rolly, right?
Right.
I said, look at the condition there now. Look what they look like. I said, put these guys in any Olympia in the late 90s, early 2000s. Where would they place? None of them had them even close to a top 6. Some of them even had them out of the top 10. So, that tells you that the condition is not there anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? And as soon as we see somebody peeled, like HADI CHOOPAN, we all go, wow.
Yeah.
It's like something special just
right.
happened.
But everyone should look like that, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Everybody on that stage should be peeled. So we
Sure.
can really judge the physiques. Now we can't even judge the physiques if they're off. We got to judge them by who's in better condition.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just, I was a little disappointed. It was much better Saturday, but I was a little disappointed. William, what I liked about William this year, he came in Friday and he did not change till Saturday. So he stayed the same. So he was good on Friday. He was good on Saturday.
Right. And that's why he got second place, right?
Yes. Brandon was okay on Friday. He was good on Saturday.
Yeah.
HADI was good on Friday, fucking and great on fucking Saturday. Rolly was off on Friday and even more off Saturday.
Now is Ruley the one you were hinting at having the injury? You remember you had hinted that someone had an injury?
Yes, I heard he tore his hamstring. But this wasn't coming from him. This was coming from someone that, I don't want to, I didn't want to blow it up. But yes, and now after the show, I think he mentioned that he tore his hamstring.
Yeah.
Listen, if you have an injury, say that shit before. Or if you don't say it before, shut up.
Yeah.
Don't use it as an excuse for you not being in shape. If you have an injury, either pull out or shut up and handle your business. He's still not fit.
If I had an injury, I would be dieting harder so that I would try to compensate for the injury by bringing in better conditioning, right?
Exactly. And if it was because of the hamstring, then I would love to see one leg smooth and the other leg shredded. Give me something.
Right. Dorian never had a problem getting in shape when he had all those injuries, right?
Right. And therefore, I don't take this as an excuse. He was off, and shit happens. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying
should he have been in the top 6, or should they put him out of the top 6?
Well, like I had Patrick Moore ahead of Ramy.
Okay, so then you would have had him out of the top 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a mass contest. I mean, you can't compare the size. But if you compare overall package, complete package, look, condition, everything else, he's beating him.
Was he worse? Was Ruley worse than Ramy was last year?
I don't know. I can't remember. I can't compare them.
I think they were about the same conditioning-wise, and Ramy wasn't in the top 5.
Yeah. But Ruley was top 5 because there was, several guys missing. I mean, if you would have had Phil, Sean, and even Ramy in the lineup, can you imagine?
Yeah. Well, next year, let's talk about next year, 2020. We could have Phil back possibly. If Rooden doesn't go to jail, he could be in that lineup. We could have Ramy back in that lineup. We might have Flex Lewis in that lineup. Is 2020 going to be the Olympia of Olympias we're all been waiting for?
Yeah, well, every time we're waiting for something, we get disappointed.
I know, we get slammed. I know.
Every time we're waiting for something, we're going to get disappointed. Let's just wait, see what happens, and let's just go with the flow. Because at the end of the day, What is it going to change if everybody's in it and everybody's off?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to be another off Olympia. So let's not put too much pressure on these guys.
Yeah.
Let these guys get their shit together and come in shape for once.
I was watching. So Elite Priest sent me there was on YouTube. Someone had put the press conference from the 2001 Olympia. I don't know if you remember that. You were actually there. I saw you up there on the stage, and it was a very good press conference. I don't know if you've seen the replay of that thing.
2001. I remember exactly. We were still wearing suits.
Yeah, all wearing suits, and Kamali and Titus were there arguing with each other.
Yes. This is when Sean Ray was arguing with one of the judges that later died.
Yeah, Deshae Ebert. Yeah.
Deshae from Texas, right? I remember because she got pulled off the panel the night before.
Did she really?
Yeah, because they were talking back and forth, and you can't see it in them highlights. Because at the end of the day, Sean was complaining about the judges not being transparent with their name next to the numbers.
Right.
And then Deshae kept arguing. She kept arguing, and I was like, "Shut the fuck up and sit your ass down. Nobody wants to hear from you." And then she mentioned something, and she said, "Sean, yeah, but the problem is you look the same every year."
Oh, so she biased herself. I see.
Over the microphone that, Sean, the problem with you is that you look the same every year. And then Sean said, well, this is what I have to hear from a judge that's going to judge me tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's why she got pulled off the panel.
But, Sean made some valid points, and they have changed a lot of things since that press conference with prize money and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, but we still don't have the judges' individual scores.
No, we don't. But Ronnie looked like he was like out of his mind. He was completely illogical in the thing. He was like,
Well, Ronnie was used to winning 3 times back to back. He didn't want to see no changes.
No. He was quoting when he wasn't winning that he never complained. Sean's like, you should have complained then. That's when you should have been complaining.
Yeah, I remember that.
But you know what? You were smiling the whole press conference. I liked it because I felt like that's what the press conference should be. It should be something like that, Yeah,
there should be some controversy because everybody's running their mouth all year, and then when it comes to the press conference,
you don't hear
talk about it.
Yeah,
that's the point I always made at press conference because these guys, you watch their social media, you watch what they say, off camera, and you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm gonna beat him. He ain't got shit. He's not a good ambassador. And then when you get to the press conference, you get asked the questions, and then you don't want to fucking talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, overall, it was a good weekend. You know what I mean? Brandon Currie deserved the title. You could easily make a case for HADI CHOOPAN being the Mr. Olympia. Plus the People's Choice Award. You could easily, switch the top 3 around any way you want them, but I would have said HADI no less than second. After Saturday, he deserves second place.
Prediction. I want a prediction for next year. Will Brandon Currie defend his title? Or are we going to see another switching of the Olympia title?
Well, if Brandon will bring up his legs and has some separation, if Brandon has legs like HADI CHOOPAN, he will.
Well, that's not going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen. No. So it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard because he's going to have to understand now what it means to be Mr. Olympia, to travel like a Mr. Olympia. It's not like he could be training all year. There are going to be a lot of things changing in his life. And for that, it's going to be very hard for him to repeat because, like I said, when you listen to the people that were there, they're basically saying that was a Mr. Olympia who would have never won the Olympia if anybody else was there. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to say that because nobody else was there, so he was the best that day. So let him enjoy his title. And it's going to be very hard for him to repeat. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be very hard because there's too many people real close to him.
Yeah, you're right, but it makes for an exciting Olympia for next year. Let me ask you this question, though, because let's talk about the 212 for a minute. We were touting Derek Lunsford. Everyone's been touting him as the next coming, the heir apparent to Flex Lewis. Prejudging comes. He obviously... Something happened. He didn't bring it to prejudging.
He was so full of water, it was ridiculous.
What happened? How could someone screw up so bad on Olympia Day?
I went backstage right after prejudging because I had Kamal and Sean Clarita 1 and 2.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So, and I told him backstage, I said, look, from right now, I got you in third because you holding too much water. I said, get rid of some water. He told me, yeah. And then I saw him just before the finals. I talked to him. He said, yeah, I dropped 4 pounds. And then he said, asked me if I can look at him. I said, I did look at him in the back. And I said, this is the way you should have came in this morning.
You're right.
If you would have came in this morning, you would have walked away with the title, because Kamal was
amazing.
He was so peeled, it was ridiculous.
When you look at this guy, 48 years old, are you like, how the hell is this guy still doing it? Right?
Yeah. This is God-given genetics.
Yeah.
On top of hard work ethic, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And being healthy and injury-free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he had long layoffs in between. You know, he was semi-retired, or he was retired and came back. So it's not like he's been pounding his body all these years. So he had long rests in between, and that's why his body looks fresh. You don't see any sign of age.
Nothing. No loose skin. Nothing. I'm jealous.
Yeah, me too. But I'm 53, so he's going to have to get 6 years older. Tell him to stop training for 6 years to see what it looks like.
Dennis, you still look great too, so don't give me any bullshit. No bullshit. No bullshit. What do you think about Bader's response with the no bullshit? Now he has an Olympia title over at Kuwait there.
What was that?
I said, Bader, no bullshit. No bullshit. They got an Olympia title. They finally got their title. I'm sure they never thought it was going to come from Currie, but they got their title over there in Oxygen.
So, but it's not. What do you mean their title? It's Brandon's title.
Well, but they're laying claim to it because they trained Brandon and they gave him room and board and they supported him.
Oh, so that means if you give him a bed and you give him a gym where you can train, that means the title belongs to the one who owns the gym.
It's Team Oxygen Gym. It's Brandon's title, but it's Team Oxygen Gym. Yeah. They finally got the title.
Well, enjoy it. Run with it. Run with it.
Bader said to Chris Aceto during the wrap-up, you saw it, no bullshit, and Chris said Brandon won a vacated title, you know.
What did he say?
He said to Bader, Brandon won a vacated title.
Why?
Well, the title was vacated because Sean wasn't there, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, I wonder what they're going to be saying when people say, yeah, well, listen, I don't want to take away from Brandon. He deserved it. You know what I mean? I want him to enjoy it. You know what I mean? But he knows in the back of his head that this wasn't a miss. He didn't win the Olympia from the title.
You know what, though, Dennis? Every year when the first-time guy wins the Olympia, it's like they got to win it a second time to cement the fact that they really are Mr. Olympia. I think Rooden would have easily have done it this year had they let him compete. I think he would have walked through the show.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And so would have Phil.
Yeah.
Phil would have walked through the show in 80%.
Oh, yeah. His stomach could have been to all the way to Reno, and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
You know?
And I talked to both of the guys. I talked to Phil after pre-judging. He's like, I was like, Phil, you could have just walked in and with 4 weeks of dieting, you could have walked in and got that title. So, but yeah,
you told him that, what did he say to you? Did he say that he should have done it, or did he say I'm not interested in this anymore?
No, he's busy. He's got some businesses going on that they're about to take off, so he's doing all right, I guess. So he's doing his thing, and I believe he will be back.
Oh, you think he's going to come back? Yeah.
I believe he will be back because, after seeing this, who wouldn't want to come back?
Well, you think, Kai could have come back too, but he obviously didn't have any interest in doing it as well. He would have walked through it as well.
Oh, yeah. This would have been, oh, man. Even Ramy, if Ramy would have been in good condition, he would have walked away.
Yeah, well, yeah, but we've never seen Ramy in good condition, so that's a big, that's like Cedric being in condition for the Olympia,
So what's Ramy doing now? Is he back with George?
I don't know. I heard that Chris Aceto told me that the Ramy people were contacting him at the Olympia and saying that Ramy wants to go with him. So I don't know who Ramy's with. I think Ramy's doing his own thing.
I think he's with George. I think he's been with George for quite some time now.
Ramy, it's who's ever on the band. He has to jump on who's ever bandwagon seems to be hotter. Yeah, Chris has the 212 guy, so now Ramy's blowing his phone up. So
yeah, he needs to find himself.
Do you think we'll see Ramy in Italy?
No.
No? You don't think he'll compete?
No. He won't be in Italy. He's going home, and then he's got some appearances in Nicaragua or Paraguay or somewhere in South America next week. He's basically just going home for a week. He's going home.
He's probably making more money than everyone is because think about it. If you want a guest poser, that's the guy you want on your stage. I mean, he's going to pull people into the house.
Right.
He's so big. Right. Big guys always sell more guest posing seats,
I think he's doing very well, compared from the $600 he was making from Bada that he never got. Compared to that, I think he's very well off, and he's able to take care of his family. And I think because the way he's been, shoving money to Egypt, he should be fine.
He's buying fishing boats with all the money, right?
Huh?
He's got a whole fleet of fishing boats now, I think.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's going back into fishing,
No, he told me. He said, I got fishing boats he's been buying over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the family's business. That's their business.
In Dubai?
No, in Egypt over there.
Yeah. I'm playing a trip to Egypt end of this year with him.
Oh, really? See, I wanted to go there. He invited me to come go fishing with him. I just can't leave. I got babies,
I'm going. Me and the wife, we're going to Egypt.
I thought I was crazy to have all these kids. What's going on with Troy Alves? Has he got 2 kids, 2 twins on the way now?
What, 2 twins?
I heard he's got twins on the way now, Troy.
I know, I didn't hear that. He just had another baby.
I know, but I think he has 2 more coming.
Well, I have no idea.
I thought you see him over there in your hometown.
Yeah, I didn't see any twins in him, so I don't know.
All right, before I let you go, classic physique. Talk to me about the Bumstead upset over these George Peterson and over Breon Ansley. Good decision, bad decision. What do you think?
Okay, let me go back to last year first. Last year, Chris was way off.
Right.
And only lost by 1 point.
Right.
Which tells me they obviously love him. Okay?
Yeah.
Because if you, in the condition that he was in, plays 1 point behind the Mr. Olympia, that means they must like you so much that, it was almost enough coming in super off and still winning. So this year, he was spot on. So he had, his transformation from last year to this year was unbelievable.
Right.
And this is what probably made the judges decide, if you break him down pose by pose, he won't win a pose from the back. But that doesn't mean that he's maybe a little bit better from the front when he hits some of the shots. And they just awarded him for being in crazy condition. And they were all great. George Peterson, Breon Ansley, and Chris Bumstead were all in crazy condition. Then you got this little guy, Keon, you know what I mean?
Pearson, yeah, he's great.
And even the Korean guy, man. The Korean guy was unbelievable too.
Yeah.
But you could have mixed matched the top 3 any way you liked it. They were all in super crazy condition, and they were all deserving of the title.
I'm shocked though that they made this call because you don't really see a reigning Mr. Olympia ever lose when he's in his best.
That's why I'm shocked. But thinking back to last year, think about it. He was off.
Yeah.
And only lost by 1 point.
But the year before that, I thought Bumstead was going to win, and he lost. And he was at his best that first year that Breon won.
Yeah, but his back was even worse than his
biceps.
That's true.
You're right.
His back and biceps were non-existent.
Yeah.
So it wasn't enough. So it's hard. You always say that you have to knock out Mr. Olympia. That didn't happen.
No.
Why they gave it to him? Judge's decision. Can't argue with that.
Make it more interesting for next year. That's what it seemed like. It was a year of change. That's what it was.
I said it for years. I said Chris Bumstead is classic physique. If you think classic,
I agree.
Classic. He got it all. He just needs to work on his back because I don't think that the classic physique is a category where somebody can dominate for more than 2-3 years.
Why is that?
Because they're all so close to each other. You know what I mean? There's no weight differences. It's basically you can't be 20 or 30 pounds heavier than another guy. Right. You know what I mean? Because they go by height and weight, and at the end of the day, they're all very, very similar. It's literally just a matter of condition and displaying your physique to the fullest. You know what I mean? Yeah. Chris Bumstead got some crazy shots. You know what I mean? He stands
he's tall too. Tall helps in that division.
Yeah, he stands very dominant from the front double biceps, front last right look crazy because he's got the height. It's like when we said back in the days, Arnold and Franco Colombo. How can Franco Colombo beat Arnold? That's normally not possible.
Yeah. Do you think that George Peterson should move up to 212 bodybuilding?
I think he could. I think he could if his legs would grow.
I think he's holding himself back because he can't make that weight. So I think that I think they will grow if he would elect. Yeah, he only has to gain 10 pounds. I mean 8 pounds. He can probably compete the way he is now in 212 and do well.
Well, the condition he had this weekend, if he would have been in the 212, I think he would have been in the top 3. Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. Or at least 4th, the worst behind Clarita,
Yeah, I think he would have been in the top 3 because if he would have brought the condition on Friday morning to the expo stage, it would have been Derek goodbye. I'm serious, and I told Derek, and I still believe Derek has the best body in all the 212. But if you're not, and you know what he said, that's coming from himself. He said, yeah, maybe he let all that hype get to him. You know, he thought he thought he was going to win before the show even started.
That's not good to have too much confidence. Yeah,
and that's a mistake people make when everybody that you look up to is telling you the same thing. Oh, you got this easy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They should stop all the pre-contest pics. Everybody, stop that shit. You know what I mean? I learned the hard way. I posted pre-contest pictures, scared the shit out of the whole world. And then you come into the Olympia, you're flat, fucking dehydrated, and people are like, what happened? He lost so much weight. No, I just didn't have that full body workout that I had in the pictures. I didn't train fucking.
I tell people all the time, you were Mr. Olympia with a tank top on. No one was close to you.
Bring that shit to the gym, I will fuck you up.
Put a tank top on Dennis James. They said he is Mr. O, man, all day long.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying, because you get that pump. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you take that picture, you look like you're fucking about to burst out of your skin.
Yeah.
But that does not transform to the stage. You can't bring that to the stage. Right. So you're always trying to find that happy medium about being in shape, being full. You know, you can't have it all.
Yeah.
It's no possible way. But yeah, other than that, I think Brian is going to Italy now for that Italy show.
Right.
And I think it will be a battle. I'd like to see them mix it up a little bit more in the Classic, because it's been the same 3 guys for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you look at their condition today, you know, deservingly so. I mean, you can't knock them. No. Neither one of them. You know what I'm saying? So, I saw that Chris Cormier put a post out that's already down now. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, no. What do you say?
Well, he put a picture of black double biceps with all 3 of them. He said, I call bull fucking shit.
Oh, well, yeah, he trained Brian, so.
He got so much shit over that, you know, everybody Chris Bumstead has a huge following now.
Yeah,
no. You go against Chris Bumstead's following, you know, you're going to have to read some shit.
Yeah, no.
So I think he took it down after 2 days. He probably said that while he was very emotional after he lost. And, you know, I mean, well,
Chris was living with, Brian. I mean, so he really was hands-on with this guy. I mean, working with his posing and everything. They thought, no way we're getting beaten. I didn't think they were going to get beaten. I would have bet on Brian all day long to win that show. And I like Bumstead's physique, you know.
Me too, and I did. And I ate my words again.
Yeah.
Because I was saying the same thing about Chris Bumstead until last year, until Brian came in and fucking made me eat my words. Now I'm jumped on Brian's fucking bandwagon,
right? And
he gets beat by Chris, and now I'm looking like an idiot again. But like I said, that's the beauty of the sport, that these guys are so close that in a matter of just one pose, somebody can lose to somebody.
You're right. So, no, you're right. You're 100% right.
That's what I like about it. I still want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
HADI CHOOPAN deserves all the credit in the fucking world for coming here for the first time, not knowing if he's going to get a visa, bringing it to the Olympia stage. I think it looking phenomenal. I mean, every body part was there. Legs out of this world, shoulder width, fucking his back lat spread is so thick. He stands next to guys that are really 30, 40 pounds heavier, and he kills them. He kills him in their best shots. There's a picture out with him standing next to Brandon Currie doing the front lat spread. You can show this picture to fucking Stevie Wonder and ask Stevie who's the better guy. You know what I mean? They would point out him. So that shows you how good this guy really is. And people don't, you know, he looks better than in pictures. And that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I've never seen him in person, so it's very hard for me to give my insights. I know everyone who's seen him in person has been very impressed with him, though.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then him saluting Dexter Jackson was, for me, another sign of how humble this guy really is.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he's so good for the sport. I'm glad he's finally here, and I hope they can do something to make sure he gets his visa every year. Or maybe get a B visa where he can come in and out as much as he likes.
Right. Well, I don't think he thought he was going to get the visa. I know a lot of what transpired had a lot to do with the New York Post article they did and some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that was being done. So I'm glad that the powers that be, you know, way above us, saw the wisdom of allowing this guy who was an elite-level athlete to come into the country. And I said he should have done the 212. I'm glad he didn't listen to me, because it was a good decision, obviously, to do the Open. He's third in the world now. I wonder, are we going to see him in Italy, you think, compete again?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
To qualify for. Oh no, he is qualified.
He is qualified, but yeah, just what the hell? Do another one. Might as well win it.
Go get that money.
That's right.
Who's going to beat him? Who's going to beat him?
I don't know.
Nah. I highly doubt Brandon will go.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Even though Brandon is Brandon? No, he's a Cytec nutrition athlete, not Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb right now and say that HADI CHOOPAN will win the show in Italy if he goes. He should. I'll say that Brian Ansley will win the classic, and I don't know if they have a 212 or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I doubt it. But one more time, congratulations, Brandon Currie. You know what I mean? Now you guys have another year to work on your weakness. Well, if you can call it a weakness, just to bring your quads up, work with some detail. I don't know, this must be some Middle Eastern thing that people come with no detail.
Very big and full.
I'm not even saying this to be funny. I'm just looking at it. Rolly Winker's legs had no detail either.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is they're doing I don't know.
A lot of eating. Too much eating.
A lot of eating, yeah, and who knows what. I don't know.
Dennis, thank you so much for your honest impressions of Olympia weekend. Thank you for helping us, before the Olympia, at the Olympia, here after the Olympia, and giving us your honest opinion as always.
No problem. It's a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me on your show. And whenever you need me, you know where to find me, brother.
All right, guys, and that's going to take us to the end of another episode of RX Muscles, Iron Road to the Olympia, at the Olympia, and after the Olympia. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.